Hello, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Winning Mondays. I see there's still a fair bit of people still waiting to come in, right? Okay, just to introduce myself, I'm Wei-Li here. I'm your host for today, unfortunately, but don't we all miss Mariah? I'm sure you miss Mariah, right? She's off somewhere now, but she has prepared everything for us here today. So maybe just while we're waiting for more people to come in, right? Oh, yeah, thanks. All right, so while waiting for people to come in, we all know that Malaysia Day was just over the weekend. So I'm just very curious to find out what was the most Malaysian thing that some of you guys did over the weekend. Just throw in your answers. I'm very curious to see if you guys did anything that you find was the most Malaysian for you. John, you can also participate in this. Anyone? The most Malaysian thing, even if you're listening to this on Facebook or you're here at Zoom. Right, Malaysian food. What kind of Malaysian food? Hey, no one else did anything most Malaysian. Okay, BKT, when eating out with family, anything that you think is Malaysian for you. Went to gosh, Nick. Right, went to Indian restaurant, sing Negaraku. I would love Nick to sing for us one day, right? Yeah, I think Nick should do that for us in an event. Yeah, it should submit. Anything else? What was the most Malaysian thing that you guys did over the weekend? How does that sound? All right, over the weekend, the most Malaysian thing I did. Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, but wow, Punjabi food. Very nice, very nice, very muhiba, right? For me, what I did, which I found was the most Malaysian thing, I actually went to the mall. I helped support the Malaysian economy. That's the most Malaysian thing that I did because I think that's a very common Malaysian hobby, right? So yes, that was one of my hobbies. When I have the free time, I would do that. So yes, I hope you guys had a great Malaysian day. I know it was a long weekend for some of you. Maybe you guys went out with the family as well, going through traffic jam. Yo, Farah, yes, that's actually a very Malaysian thing that we had to do every single day, right? Okay, great. So yeah, thanks for lining me, everyone. So today, before we actually kick in straight to the topic, right? I'm just kind of going to walk you through some of the things we had covered over the weekend. Okay, let me see. How do I remove this chat? Hold on, just give me a second. Okay, can you guys see my screen now? Can you all see the screen? All right, so the last few weeks, wow, you guys are already at topic number 5. So the last few weeks, you went through getting mind over market. We learned about seller staging strategies. I thought that was a very interesting topic. We talk about finances, right? How to manage our finances, our expenses, when to spend, when not to spend. Then we talk about upshifting our lead generation tactics and stuff. I think today's topic is very interesting because we're going to talk about lead capture and conversion. This is something that I often hear from agents, right? Like, okay, how do I capture leads? How do I convert them? And this is a quote that Gary Keller kind of made mention in Shift, that the effort that we actually give to converting leads, it has to match the effort that we give to generating them. What does it mean, right? It means to say as much effort as we put into lead generating, that should also be the same amount of effort we put into converting them. We often hear from all of us, right? Like we always say things like, is this a quality lead? How do I make leads more quality? So I guess today we're here to kind of bust any of these myths, and John is the expert, is going to be here to share more about how we do that and to address some of these concerns that we all have. All right, so before we head straight into the very special session, I'm going to run a very quick activity with all of you. Okay, let's see if this thing shows right. Okay, can all of you see this now? I think for the benefit of those who are on Facebook, I just ran a poll. So the first question is, do you find it's harder to convert leads to appointments in the last few months? Okay, first question, do you find it's harder to convert leads to appointments in the last few months? If you're on Facebook, you can just write yes or no. The second question is, do you track your actual leads to appointments and their conversion ratio? So do you track actually what's the conversion ratio between your actual leads to appointment? Okay, I'm going to give you guys some time. Wow, I can see all this. It's almost like I'm in the voice or something, you can see all these percentages coming out. It's quite interesting. All right, this is my first time doing a poll, so I am very curious to see how this goes. We're getting a lot of answers for the first one, with leaning towards the yes. Okay, I'm giving yes a bit more time. Still 10 of you who have not answered, so I'm giving you 10 a little bit more time to get to that. Right, so first question, to repeat again, do you find it's harder to convert leads to appointments in the last few months? And then the second question, do you track your actual leads to appointments conversion ratio? Okay, so I guess we have all the answers right now. So let me just end the poll and let me share results. Okay, can you guys see the results? All right, so it says here that for the first question, do you find it's harder? Yes, 89%, almost 90% of you guys say it is harder to convert leads. And the second question was, do you actually track? We have some of you saying yes, almost 40%. Majority of you say no, right? Okay, so thanks all for sharing and being really honest. We're going to address some of these questions today. So without further ado, I'm going to invite our very special guest today. So some of you know him, some of you might not know him, but I think majority of you know him because he's not a stranger to any of us. I'd like to invite Jonathan Lee, our Group CEO, on stage today.
Good morning,
Right.
everyone. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, John. So John, maybe for the benefit of those who do not yet know you, do you mind maybe sharing a bit more about yourself, your background in real estate?
Right. So I've been real estate for the past 18 years right now. I started very young at the age of 5. That's why I can do 18 years of real estate. So I'm still 20 something years old. I'm just kidding. But yeah, 18 years of real estate. Had fairly good success as a single agent, then moved on to a team agent, built a team underneath me from selling residential to selling project-based business. Had great success, and then moved on. Got my business acquired by another company called Redfield, where I am right now with KW Malaysia. And yeah, that's what I do right now. So what I do every single day is to figure out what's the best way to help agents thrive in their business. How do I create more value, more systems? How do I coach agents? How do I train agents? And spending Monday mornings is one of my rituals here. I don't think I miss many Monday mornings unless I'm sick, down, or or traveling or whatever. But I really enjoy my time doing this every Monday, because that's how I think we should kickstart our day, by having the privilege to speak to so many people in the industry.
Yeah, what do you think is so important for us to kickstart the Mondays, right?
I think you need to find energy. I think as a real estate agent or real estate business person, number one thing that you need to have is energy. You can have the best skills in town, you can have the best understanding, the best knowledge, but you have poor energy, it will likely lead to poor results. So I think having an opportunity to energize people and also to energize myself helps me personally to put that high energy in play and in motion.
Thanks for sharing, John. Yeah, you always see John filled with energy. Always. I think he's the one with the most energy here, right? And then he rubs this energy off to everyone, right? So thanks for setting the tone right for all of us every single Monday morning. So as we talk about this topic about lead capturing and also lead conversion, do you mind maybe just sharing your thoughts about this shift that we're currently experiencing now? I believe it's not upcoming. I think it's already happening to us. Maybe you can share a bit of your thoughts about what we're experiencing now in the market.
I think what we're experiencing now in the market is that because there's two issues that I think we need to talk about. Number one is the market, and number two is the agent's mindset. And I'll start with the market first, right? So the market is in a way where everybody is confused, right? There are a lot of buyers saying, I'm waiting for the price to drop. There are a lot of sellers saying, no, the price is going up. So there is a lot of confusion, right? A lot of mismatched expectation and a lot of uncertainty that's going on in the market right now. That is why agents like us today find it very tough to go to the market and help to try to create value. But because of the uncertainty and the ambiguity that's in the market today, the agents now has more value, have more opportunity. I'm sorry, let me rephrase. Have more opportunity to provide value to the marketplace. because we can be the bridge to educate, to help, to assist, to consult buyers and sellers on how they should take their step and their thinking as they're looking at buying or selling a property.
So I'm hearing opportunity is one thing that is evident right now in this season.
Right.
That this is the best time to kind
Yes,
of
correct.
opportunity.
So that's the market. Now the other part of it is the agent's mindset. So when you run that poll just now, when you say is the agent, is it hard to convert lead to appointment? I find myself wondering whether we are in a shift or not. Do many agents have issue getting leads to appointment? So I'm going to ask everyone in the chat box right now, even before shift, even when the market was good, do you have issues getting leads to appointment? If you yes, say yes. If no, say no. Do you have issue getting leads to appointment, even though in the hot market? Maybe you can get more appointments, but do you still have issues getting the leads to appointment? Put in the chat box, please. Or some people say no, great. Anyone say yes? Some people say yes. So the idea is that there will always be challenges getting lead to appointment. And the fact of the matter is the mindset of most agents today, including myself sometimes, is that we go into the market, we expect the lead to want to buy today. We are expecting to find a lead that is ready to buy now. And the minute when the person don't answer my phone or the person is not interested, you are saying that person is not a quality lead. So I'm here to debunk that, and I would think that before we think about the quality of leads, we should first ask ourselves, what is the quality of the agent? What is my quality? Am I performing at a high level? Am I finding a way to track how do I communicate and connect with people? Do I have value that people wants to connect with me, therefore have an appointment with me? So if you start from myself first, I find most people start from what's happening in the market first. And I will encourage everyone to look at how can I think about myself? What is the value I'm providing that people want to talk to me?
Right.
So I think that's important.
So it sounds like a shift of not really looking at the results so much, but really looking at how we can constantly shift that into ourselves and how we can change, right? To improve then the quality of the result that we get.
Correct. So yeah, correct. Lead gen to appointment is a process. If you don't have a process in play, you are hoping it by chance. You're hoping someone by chance actually accidentally saw you, accidentally talked to you, accidentally look at your message and wants to come to you. Because we have a mindset that everybody thinks, most agents want to have a lead that is interested to buy right now today. And that mindset need to shift, because then you say there's not quality lead. So I've got something to share here right now, if you don't mind me sharing this right now.
Sure.
Right.
Go ahead.
So the idea you must take, can you all see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, the idea is this. The idea is for you to generate, when you lead generate, right? We have to make sure that we get a phone number and name, right? You get the name and phone number. But what's the point of having a name and phone number if you didn't get an appointment? Does that make sense? So if you have a name and phone number, if you don't get an appointment, then what's the point of doing lead generation? So lead generation and connecting it and leading it to an appointment is the goal. So we call that lead conversion. Everybody wants to lead generate and make a sale straight away. They don't think of a process from lead generation to appointment, to consultation, to viewings, then to sale. The mindset that most agents today have is let's lead gen and find a ready buyer that wants to buy today. Unfortunately, that's not the best way to approach it. Maybe in a very hot market where everything can sell very easily, maybe that's possible. Maybe when you're in a market where you have limited supply. So the question I'll ask everyone today, is our property market limited supply or a lot of supply?
I'm interested to see the...
Yeah, press 1 if you think you have limited supply. Press 2 if you think that we have a lot of supply.
1, 2, a lot of twos.
Yeah, there are a lot of supply today. There are a lot. The latest report, NAPIC, came out last week. 50 billion overhang. A lot of supply. So when there's a lot of supply, buyers have a lot of choices. So if you go into the market and you're looking to sell one product, you expect the buyer that wants to buy this product today speak to you. I would say that it's like a needle in a haystack. That's like running. It's like quite insane to expect that way. It's like highly unlikely you'll be very successful if you set in that mindset, right? So I think that the mindset thing is important, really. I'm sorry I answered a very long answer in the short question.
No, yeah. So so hearing from you, it sounds like it's really a shift of mindset on how we approach it, and not so much of, so the previous mindset of, or maybe something that most agents are used to is to generate leads and expect a result immediately, expect a quality lead. But it is the middle process that seems to be missing. Is that
Yes.
right? And that is
Correct.
where maybe the hard work needs to come in lah. And that's where we
Right.
need to put in the effort. Okay, so
Correct.
hearing from you, maybe do you mind sharing, especially in these times, or now that things are changing, we're in this shift, right? How does lead conversion change? Like how do we approach this differently now to suit where we are now in the market?
So number one, you must know your goal. Means you must know your conversion rate. Meaning you must understand in your GPS, right? Now, if you have not understand what's the GPS, if you're a guest today, virtual support, I will encourage you to put down a link or a Google Sheet link to a GPS tool, so that the people who are not understanding GPS, they can understand what we're talking about, right? So if you know your GPS leads, right, how many leads you need to have in order to help you hit your goal, then you must first, number one, monitor the lead count. Is the lead count coming in healthy? So assuming today I want to hit $1 million, my average price per unit is 1 million ringgit. My average commission is 30,000. To hit 1 million is 30 to let's say million. That's about 30 units sale. 30 sales, I will hit my 1 million ringgit, right? I think so, right? And if you do that consistently at a 20% conversion ratio, meaning I must have 130 leads. So I must have 300 leads, or have 150 leads, because the 20% of them will convert to sales. So do I have 150 leads right now? Buyer leads, let's say, for example. Now, if I have that lead, that's great. Next thing is measure conversion, right? How do you convert that lead into appointment into a sale? You must first have this foundation written correctly, very clear, the conversion rate. So there are 3 steps, right, to look at this in a more holistic way. Number one, if you have a lead issue, then you focus on generating more leads, right? Now, most people and everyone will have a lead issue, because in reality, there will never be enough leads.
Okay, so generate more leads, right?
Yeah, never be enough leads. Now you can capture, but when you get the leads, are you capturing the leads? Now there's the idea called capturing leads. What does capturing leads mean? There can be a lead, right? This is a classic example. In my time when I was a real estate agent, there are only 2 ways to advertise. You advertise on Star Paper, and you advertise on the property portals. And that was what I was doing really 15 years ago, right? That time there were no CRM system. There were no, like, I'm terrible at Excel sheet. Like, you all know, work with me, you know that my Excel sheet is terrible. Never give me, you give me access to view, never give me access to do anything on the sheet, because I will mess it up. I mess it up many times, right? So I'm very bad at that. But when the phone call come in from either the newspaper ad or the property portal ad, right? And the guy said, I'm not interested to view, what happened to the lead? I just leave it alone. I did not capture the lead. Now, when someone called me to ask me about property, there is a need that is there, or there's some sort of intention. The issue that the time that I think about is I only want to serve clients I want to buy today. That was my mindset as well when I was an agent. But then I realized after 1 year or 6 months later, I saw the same guy that I spoke to on the phone. Hey, I spoke to you before. Yeah, I spoke to you before. I met people in lunches and dinners and weddings, right? Hey, you are the agent I called 6 months ago. Yeah. So did you buy? Yeah, I bought already.
Right.
So number one, I did not capture that data, because that data of a lead is important. So the question to ask everyone today, are you capturing your lead? That's why we have command system, or you have Excel spreadsheet. You must capture the lead and record it. And once you capture the lead, do you connect with the lead? The first C, there are 3 C's I want to talk about a lot today. Number one, do you capture the lead? Number 2, do you connect the lead? Now, this is on page 87 on Shift. If you have a Shift book here, I would encourage you to look at page 87. Capture, then you connect, then you close to appointment. The goal of lead generation and lead capturing and lead conversion is you must have these 3 clear process. Are you capturing the lead? Are you connecting with the lead? And are you closing it to an appointment? So capture is very simple, right? Just key in the data. I must have phone number, email, and name. Naming convention, first name, last name. Don't call Mr. Tan because there are many Tan out there. And if you look at the Mr. Tan again, which Tan is this? Right? And you got 5 Tans, you got Tan, 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 Tan. All the Tan is waiting for you. That's why the Tan is still Tan. Chinese Hokkien Tan means waiting, right? They're still waiting for you to call because you don't know which Tan to call. So don't call Mr. Tan. Find out their full name. Ask for in your connection. Ask for a name card. You need to understand their full name so that you understand how to connect with them, right? So naming convention is important. Mobile phone is important. Email address is important. Capture this data. Connecting with them is the other thing. When we talk about connection is about how can you create value that they want to speak to you. How do you do that? How do you create value? How do you connect with them? How do you articulate your value proposition? How do you, and connection is not a one-time thing. Oh, I spoke to him, he's not interested. No, it's multiple times. Multiple times. How do you connect with them in a systematic way that will eventually lead you to an appointment? Most people don't connect very, very well.
Can you give us an example of what you mean by not connecting very well?
They like to sell, but they don't ask questions.
What kind of questions?
So there are 3 simple questions I always teach agents, and it's very simple. I mean, you think about it, right? Most of us don't do it very well. The first, if you're looking to a buyer, first question is, why are you buying? Because the standard idea of an agent will start selling this product. This is the #1 house in the market. Why is it #1? He will tell you every single thing. But the guy is looking at it, you're #1, so what? The house is not what I want. There's no connection. Because we are selling something. We behave like a salesperson in front of a client who is going to buy something that potentially is the biggest decision in their lives. Other than marrying, who are they going to get married with? Which is another big decision. Second biggest decision is buying the home to stay with that person, right? So that buying of home is a very big decision. If you don't connect, you just sell to me this way, you don't even know what I want. That's an example. There's no connection.
Right. So understanding their needs, right?
Yes.
Connecting.
Number 2, show them the value that you can help them, that you are interested to help them. What value have you done? What is your status in the industry? I like agents that do a I like agents that do a presentation before they even met the client. Someone showed me the other day. He did this flyer of showing the people, look, I have how many listings here, I have how many transactions done here before. These are my testimonial for my clients, and I'm really here to help you. So
like more like a credibility thing.
Correct. So I'm connected to you because now I know you're just not a person that want to make money from me. You are someone that is like, you know your stuff in this market, or you are perceived to know your stuff in this market, right? That's a point of connection. Second connection is asking questions. So the first thing is, why are you buying? Number 2 is, how soon must you buy? Third thing is, what's stopping you from buying right now?
Who you guys are taking down these questions though?
Right. I tell it to, I'll be consistently telling to all these agents, right? Number 1, why are you buying? Number 2, how soon must you buy? Right? And the guy said, I'm only going to buy next year. But if you never ask the person, so imagine today you never ask the person how soon you're going to buy, right? And then he see 10 times, after that he don't call you back. They say he's not serious. It's not that he's not serious. He's not ready to buy yet. And you cannot convince people to buy something when they're not ready. It could be, I haven't got married yet. It could be, I haven't got my pay increase yet. It could be, I haven't got my property sold. It could be, I haven't got my inheritance. It could be many, many reasons why I'm not ready to buy. But then you tell me straight away, oh, he's not interested because he didn't talk to me so much about it after the viewing. That means he's not interested, then he's not a serious buyer. I think that is not a serious agent mentality.
Right.
You're not serious in helping people in the market to help them create value. You're not serious in your work because you don't take it seriously. I take it as an agent that don't think seriously. Right? Not that the buyer is not serious, because you never ask how soon must he buy. So it's actually quite innocent of the guy. The guy got labeled that he's not serious. Actually, he may not be not serious. Now, not saying that there's no people who are not serious out there in the market. There are. But doesn't mean everyone is. And our job is to find out. So that's a connection. So when you know how soon they must buy, you then understand how to follow up. Then you follow up every month once. You follow up 3 months before she's ready to buy. That's what you need to do. That's the connection. Then you send them every month an update of the market consistently. You don't spend so much time calling them. Then when the time comes 2 months before the time to buy, set an appointment and show them again. Right? So simple. So connect, capture, connect, and close the appointment.
How do you close? Maybe you can share a bit more on closing before we take the question that's here.
Closing to appointment is a natural thing. If you're connecting very, very well and you're asking a lot of questions, then closing of appointment is very simple. So an example for the appointment, it could be a viewing appointment. So let's just say I've spoken to this person many times on the phone or WhatsApp or whatever, or maybe the guy straight away come to the viewing appointment at the ad itself, right? It's very common, right? But at the appointment, do you close them to another appointment? Right? Can I show you 5 more houses? So the example is after you spoke to the person, can I set up, what's the next step? Closing is the next step, because we keep on thinking how to get the person to sign on the spot. That's not practical. But how to keep the ball rolling, right? As long as I'm having another appointment likely to close, right? So ask them questions. What are the 3 things that you like to see? When I'm viewing an appointment in a house, right? I always ask them, what's the best thing you like about this house, and what's the best thing you don't like about this house? You tell me. Then second, there's connection, right? Second thing I'll ask them is, what is it that they are looking for that they cannot find here right now?
Correct.
Okay, Mr. Tan, would you set up appointment for me next week that I can then show you 3 or 4 more of the options for you? Would you be okay with that? I'm closing them to another appointment.
So leading them to something next.
Correct. So if this guy is saying that, oh, okay, I already seen property, I kind of like this property, great. Can I set up an appointment to meet the banker right now and the lawyer straight away? I want to be involved in the process. Most of the time, agents leave that appointment to someone else to handle. And sometimes the person that you're not with handling the appointment, the banker, lawyer, whatever, can somehow do drastic changes to the dynamics of the relationship. Because now I have this expectation of me being connected. When you connect with someone else that is disconnected, you might have a problem. So you might want to be part of that conversation, right? So I will close them to either a lawyer consultation, a banker's consultation. That makes sense? So I'm always closing to appointments.
And also sounds like you're always involved in their process of making that decision, right? So being part of every single decision making, that even though it might not be directly buying the property, but it's a process of also understanding.
Right.
Thanks for sharing. Very interesting. I think Joanne brought a very interesting statement. I guess it also can be a question in that sense. She mentioned that sometimes it's a struggle to break the ice, right? Because it might sound like we are perceived as interrogating them or being very intrusive. So maybe, John, based on your experience, how would you then change this about, or how would you then soften this in that sense?
Okay, so in reality, right, there are many people who feel very, the defense are very high when they meet a salesperson or person that's involved in sales. Because somehow, some way in our lives, right, we have been somehow deceived by a salesperson before, or have expectation that's not met by a salesperson before, right? So that gives us this emotional and psychological block when a person who's trying to present something to us potentially is trying to get money from me.
Right.
So I will always go in and try to have my mindset in trying to see how can I help them. The language is very important. The scripts are very important. So I always ask permission. Mr. Tan, do I have permission to ask you a few questions? Why? Oh, this question is to help me better serve you. Do you think by knowing a little bit more about your needs, do you think it makes sense that I will be able to serve you at the higher level? I'll ask questions like this. Asking questions, asking for permission, right? It's always good to ask for permission, right? The other way of is really creating a lighter moment in the conversation. Like where your kids go to school, my kid, by the way, this is my kid. No, my kid goes to here, and I will show them my kid. If I know this guy like dogs, hey, this is my dog also. If they like traveling, so I'm always looking to pick certain common denomination to enter into a conversation. Because when you find a way to connect, the key is to connect, right? When you find a way to connect with them and build what we call emotional proximity with them, you would start to earn their trust. So it's a skill. Now you need to practice this. It's a skill. Don't take out a piece of paper. Why is this? Why? Or sometimes you can prepare a. Hey, I've seen agents done this. They send out a Google form with 3 questions and send out to the client before the viewing. Get the thing done.
What kind of questions?
The 3 questions just now. Why are you buying? How soon
Oh,
must
you
you
put it
buy?
inside. Okay.
Buying. You send out a Google form. No, by the way, Mr. Tan, do I have permission to send you these forms, this particular questionnaire, so that I understand your needs better, so that I know how I can help you better. So I will send it out. Right? That's an opportunity, right? So you can do it even before now. When I have someone sending me a form out, right? Sometimes it might feel better for some people, certain people, because they are able to see how professional you are.
Right.
And you ask for permission. Always ask for permission. Do I have your permission? No. And generally, when you ask for permission, and nobody will say no one. Rarely, very rare. Even the person say no, it's okay, move on in life and start looking at someone else. It's okay, because out of 10 people you talk to it this way, maybe 6 and 7 have good response with you. That's a win.
Yeah.
Right? It's a mindset is to win more than to lose. Are you winning more than losing? Right? The mindset shouldn't be I must win everything, because that is never going to be a practical thing. There is no methodology that ensure everybody talk to you like you are.
Yeah.
Right? But you come in as a person that is interested to consult them. How many of you send out questionnaires before you meet the clients?
Oh, I think he's asking everyone to kind of like answer this in the chat.
Yeah, how many of
How
you
many of you?
met, if you are, okay, how many of you send out questionnaires?
I'm
Right?
curious
How many of
to
you
find
send out
out
questionnaires? I'm curious to find out. How many of you send out questionnaires to clients? Yeah, Mel sent out. Very good.
Nice.
Who else? Right, good. Who else? How many times when you send out questionnaire to them, they say no, this is intrusive to you? Very rare. I think it's very rare. But tell me, Mel, Fifi, or Justin, how? What was the client's response to you when they received your questionnaire?
Have you guys been rejected before based on these questionnaires?
They will answer when they are comfortable with revert back. There you go. So they will respond. There is a response.
Yeah.
So it's building connection, trust and connection. Trust is a outcome of the currency of connection. The more connection comes in, the higher the potential of trust. The lower the connection, the lower the trust. Right? So if you are a client today, I'm going to ask everyone in the chat box, if you're a client today, right, and someone send you a 5 questionnaire that is professionally done and all that, how do you feel as a client? Give me your feedback. How do you feel as a client? Anyone? Well served. What else? Who else? I hope I'm making some connection here right now.
I guess this is your form of sending a questionnaire to everyone.
Right. How would you feel? Besides Paul says well served. Anyone else? How would you feel when someone sends you a questionnaire or someone asks you certain questions that is help and ask you permission to ask you questions? How would you feel as a client? Concern for the need. Right. Someone interested to help them, that you care. Proof. But at times annoying.
Professional, but sometimes annoying.
But you are professional, ma. Want to know more. Now, let me ask you another follow-up question. Probably all the other agents that this client has connected with did not do this. How does the client make you feel right now? How do you feel now when you see an agent that does this and 10 other agents that talk to them never do anything like this? How would you feel as a client right now? If you're a client right now, special. Right. Why is that? Because generally, most people want to make a sale today and don't care about people. When you shift that mindset, right, and you start looking from yourself is how can I serve and add value to people, your behavior will change. And then you'll realize, right, and I realized this in the very early part of my career, it is not difficult to be outstanding. Right? Cool. Next question, man. Really.
Right. So thanks. Yeah, I think it is very interesting points and something good for us to also reflect on. So John, now talking about lead conversion specifically, right? How important do you think it is for us or those of us hearing here, agents, right, for us to actually know how to actually, what is it like for us to convert, and the conversion rate itself, like how important is that for us to know the conversion rate, and is there a way that we can calculate that?
Right. So you must first track. Number one, you must know your goal and you must just track it vigorously. And I think it's something like weekly and weekly tracking, daily, weekly, monthly tracking, right? Because if you don't track, you don't know whether your conversation or your skill has improved. There is no perfect conversion ratio. It's conversion ratio that helps you hit your goal that works for you. Important to track is because your ratio tells you what works, what doesn't work, or what works best for you. Now, what works best for me may not be what works best for you. So, for example, I am the lazy kind of person. I don't like to do a lot of steps of things. Well, that's just me. I like to ask people to do. I won't do it. I'll ask people to do it. I'll be very honest here. So the way I do it is I want to probably measure the conversation and the time I spend on appointments with people. And how does that lead me to other appointments, right? How much time I spend to talk to them that will lead me. So my style is talking, sending them information, having conversation. That will lead to my conversion ratio, right? So I need to track my style. And some people very good at doing spreadsheet, very good at sending out questionnaires, very good at sending out information online, very good at systemizing the whole flow of conversation, right? Or automation, right? Which now we have a tool for automation. So it depends where your style is. There's no right or wrong. It's just what works for you to hit your goal. But most importantly, you must track the ratio, because ratio tells you what is working and what is not working. Ratio tells you that you're on the right track or you're off track. Ratio tells you that you are improving or you are not improving, right? So for example, if today I generated 100 leads, and out of these 100 leads this week, I managed to set 5 appointments. So it's a 5% ratio, right? So you need to track that, but you need to go back and see what is it that helped you get that 5 appointments. That's why capturing the data is very important. What's the conversation that I had? What is the message I sent out that connects most with people that give me the highest leads? So sometimes it's not about the skill, it's about the message of the moment, right? So for example, today, if let's just say interest rate is going up 4.5%, 5%, and then we've got a solution in this week, right? The whole announcement was interest rate going up. We got a solution that, oh, we can drop interest rate for you by half, for example, right? If I use that message for the moment, I likely may capture more leads.
Right.
And I may get more connection with the leads because it is a relevant message for the moment. And you have to test and measure what messages work, what messages doesn't work. There is no, don't go and copy someone else's messages and say this one sure work one. May not be the same because it may not speak to the people in the market that you're working with. I'm not sure whether I'm making very clear, but it's all about understanding the ratios that will help you create the connection through messaging or through phone conversations.
Right. So really understanding about the source of how you got this lead, and also what turned this lead into an appointment and a closing, right?
Correct.
So let's say if I'm brand new to this, I'm hearing this for the first time. How would you recommend for me to, like, how can I start off if I want to, like, I really want to kind of measure this, like what's the best way for me to start off small?
Go to the GPS tool
and
look at this sheet here.
That's a good one.
Update this every month. Now, this is an every month update. This person did a weekly update. This is just a sample, by the way. You track weekly. So from here, you can see there's conversion ratio, right?
Yep.
Right. So the ratio is goal actual. What's the actual ratio?
Everything is already listed.
Ratio and actual ratio.
Yeah.
Right. So you know this is important, right? So by having this kind of sight of where your activities is, you know what is working, what's not working. And this is the science. Our business is a science, right? It's a science of understanding numbers that link with activities that help you get the best results. If you don't know the formula and the science, you are shooting in the dark. You can be doing the best video in town. You can be creating the best content in town, but you don't know your numbers. It's very scary, right? So knowing your numbers, understanding your ratio, knowing what works, and maybe sometimes it's just doing 1 or 2 things only that make it work. Why need to do 10 things if 2 things work? If you have doing 2 things that work, right, versus 10 things that may not work, you save more time, you save more money.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. So it sounds like we already have a tool that anyone can use. So if the virtual support doesn't mind, can you please also repost the link again to the GPS so that for those who missed it out earlier, they can also download this. So if you are very new to this for the first time, you can actually make use of the GPS tool, speak to your market center support staff, speak to your team leaders if you need help on understanding the GPS, and they'll be there to actually guide you through. If you're a guest, just let the virtual support know. You can PM them and we can also walk you through that later. Right. Now hearing more about lead capturing, we understand that first is really how we get the leads and the conversion rate is important. But as we do this, right, I'm also hearing that following up is one of the main things. Following up is one of the important things that leads to everything else. It leads to conversion. So maybe John, hearing from you, what are some of the best strategies that you know out there, or you have personally used, or you've spoken to agents out there that you would recommend for us to kickstart with in terms of following up?
So number 1, have a mindset to try to be curious about that person.
Curiosity.
Right. Yeah. So go to page 95 of the shift book. Page 95 of the shift book, there are 6 questions, the 6 connection questions. Follow up, another word for follow up is connecting. So if you think about follow up just to buy a person that wants to buy versus I want to connect with this person to see how can I help them to understand them better, that mindset is very different. Because sometimes we want to quickly connect to someone that wants to buy straight away. That mindset, you must find a way to move away from that mindset. Because it's not sustainable. It's very tiring. But when you think about this over time, right, you connect with people, right, by asking questions, by having a curious mindset, right? So in this page 95, it says that there are 6 connection questions. First question is try to find out who are they. Is it a father? Is it a mother? Is it an investor? Is it a buyer for first home buyer? Who are these people? Who are they? Number 1 is who are they? Second question is, what do they want and need to do? What do they want and need to do? What is it that they want and they need to do? Right? Number 3, where do they want or need to do? Where are they looking for? Where are they looking at right now?
Location.
Number 4, why do they want or need to do it? It's all in page 95 of the shift book. Why do they want or need to do it? Why is the one that why is this person looking to buy or do this right now? Right? Number 5, when do they want and need to do it? Number 6, how do they plan to do it? So the tactics is really thinking about how do you connect with this person? How do you build a bridge to connect with them? Follow up is about all these things. Now, if you understand this, right, he may not tell you first, is he investor buy for own stay or whatever. You test lah. You have investor messages, you have buyers messages, you have home ownership messages, right? And then you have family expansion messages. Oh, Mr. Tan. So how many of you send messages to clients saying that I just want to help? I just want to do a shout out to my client, Mr. Tan, that I've helped him bought this house so that he can expand his family. If you're looking to expand your family and you need a home, call me. That message may connect with me because maybe I am expanding my family. I'm not expanding my family, by the way, but just that I may be expanding my family right now, right? So that is a connection. Who are they? What are these people? So having those key messages ready and testing them, because there is always this mindset to think very linear, meaning thinking that everyone is the same, but everyone is not the same. Everyone buy the property for different needs. Investment, own stay, expansion, children's education, many reasons. So if you have multiple of these messages out, there's rotating every week, right? So week 1 is about investment, week 2 is about home ownership, week 3 is about children education, week 4, whatever it is, right? Eventually you will capture that person's attention because you are like, it's either one of these things, right? That is about their property purchase. I don't know how to answer your question, but that's how I would suggest connecting, and following up is about connecting. Think about how to build connection that will lead to an appointment.
So it sounds to me that you're connecting with a variety of people, right? And your messages should include a variety of different messages and touch points so that it reaches out to one of them that has that need. Right?
Correct.
So maybe it's just really a shift of mindset that not everyone is the same. We are not all the same, and we all have different needs.
So,
right?
so I give you an example of how we do recruitment, right? In our
Mm.
recruitment conversation, technology is one, training education is one, tools that we do about market research is one, coaching education is one. So you will see all these messages being shot out every week in a different format, right? And why? Because it may speak to different people that is in that need right now. And when you hit the right timing, the right need of that person responds to you. But the key thing is to be consistent. Consistently connect with people.
Right.
It's about consistency. You will only see result over time. You don't see result over tomorrow. Right. So you can change our mind.
Sorry, and that sounds like the biggest struggle for some of us, right? Like being consistent and constantly being disciplined to do that. How can agents kind of ensure consistency in following up? Like what would be the best ways?
It's a great book called The Infinite Game. Infinite Game. By Simon Sinek. Yeah. So, and it talks about how we should change that mindset of being finite versus infinite. A finite thinking is, how do I get a sale tomorrow? Infinite thinking is, how do I build a business that will help me earn $1 million every year for the rest of my life? Both are two different kind of agents that will behave differently. Now you get to choose which one you want. Nothing is wrong or right, but which one you want, right? If you want to think infinitely, you think about building systems, models, tools, and pipelines. I think what Joanne said earlier is you have to build a pipeline, a process, and that process will have to keep on improving. As time changes, as behavior of consumer changes, process will have to improve. When I was in my early days of real estate, right, consumer was not open to so much data. So follow-up was very simple. I want to buy. New houses available. Very simple. Today, consumer demands more, expect more. Send them market report every week, or there's a change here every week. There's a change here, there's a change here, there's a change here. So consumer look at different things right now compared to us. Like if you don't have a Metapod, you don't have 360 today, you are behind time.
Yeah.
Stop thinking about, oh, I only want to do this when the listing can sell, then I do it. No. Imagine you are the only agent that this buyer is receiving Metapod shots every single week from different listings. You are so outstanding. You're outstanding. So you have to change your mindset, ma. Last time there's no Metapod. Last time, right? My mobile phone cannot send picture one. You remember sending picture? Cannot send picture on mobile phone one. So that's during my time. So now you know how old I am. Right? During my time, the internet was still 1515.
What's that?
You know what's
1515? What's that?
No, don't know why 1515, right? Okay.
Generations ahead of me, John.
Internet was an option. But if I think like that, right? I only send pictures to people who are serious in buying. Guess what? Someone who's sending pictures to everybody in the market today, they have a higher chance of getting that connection. They have a higher ICQ. Oh, yes, ICQ.
Yeah, that one I know, ICQ.
Yes. There's a higher chance of getting connection when you are sending things that matters to them. The powerful thing is sending a 360 Metapod today, which is so powerful. If I had that tool when I was an agent, I will make sure that all my listings are Metapod and all my listings are sent out to all my clients. That will increase their opportunity to connect with me more. Because when I keep on seeing all your listings, right, I kind of know what you want already.
Yeah.
The buyer today, right, have you all buy something from online portals before? Do you buy something really on online portals?
I think all the time. I usually shop online.
Now, how does the online portal help you search?
There's search engines, there's categories. It goes with
and they might even suggest to you after you view a few listings, right? They will suggest these are the things that likely that you might want to be interested, right? And then from this journey of looking, I then am empowered to make my decision.
Yeah.
So that's what client wants today. If you don't empower them, someone else will empower them. How you empower them is bringing that connection, bringing that resource center that's sending out them multiple shots of Metapods or opportunities or properties that you think is likely that they like or that is suitable for them. Once you do the consultation with them, you have a higher chance of building that connection. Because I can tell you today in this market, most agents don't do this.
Yeah. So it sounds to me, I'm hearing a lot of value giving, a lot of value added, right? It's not just a transaction, but looking at it as really giving the experience for the overall client, right? An overall experience for their journey, right?
Right.
Oh, that's very good points. I hope you guys have any questions at this point, anything that you guys want to ask? Anything? Oh, Winnie has, connect, care, and confident. Yeah. Being confident in all that you do.
Yeah.
John, as we talk about lead conversion, I guess if you guys have more questions along the way, please feel free to write it down in the chat and we'll address it later. But as we are talking about lead conversion, right? How do you think agents can actually increase their skills in converting? So like in connecting, cultivating, closing, what are some other ways apart from the GPS and those that you mentioned before that they can actually start off
Right.
with?
Prepare your scripts very well. And the scripts are just, in my opinion, right, agents don't present anymore. Stop presenting and start asking questions.
What do you mean by stop presenting? Maybe you can
Don't
share.
go into the property and say, hey, that's the toilet bowl, that's the flush, press the button, the flush will come. That is already expected of you, of the guy can understand that already. So ask questions, right? Prepare questions to ask. Those 3 questions are a great script. Practice the questions, practice it with someone else. Go into a relationship with another agent and role play every morning. Let's practice the 3 questions. How do you answer? How do you respond? There's this tool, there's this technique called listening speaking technique, right? You can go to YouTube and you can Google a speaker listening technique. I'm sorry, it's called speaker listening technique. How do you listen? Ask question and listen. Listen and take notes. So having scripts about the questions, right? Correct, Charles. Don't just open and close door. Open and close door, anybody can. The guy who drives the Grab food one can do it. Do your part already one. Don't be surprised one day that all these riders, right, one day will become real estate facilitators. Their job is just to open the door and show you the house.
Yeah.
Because if that is what you are doing, you're offering very low value. Anyone can open the door and show the house. Anyone. Right? And most of the time, some agents are late. Right? So prepare by asking questions. The list of questions on Shiftbook is good. The 3 questions I gave you is very good. Questions to start the conversation, either for a seller or buyer. Prepare your script, practice your script very well, practice it very, very well, and learn about behavioral styles. This is one thing that you need to learn about behavioral styles of people. There are 4 types of dominant styles, right? The DISC model. I don't know if you all can Google DISC. D stands for directive or dominant. I stands for someone that is influential, likes to socialize and talk a lot. S for steadiness. C for someone that's very compliant. A D person is straight to the point. If you find a D person, that 3 questions will work for him.
So we should test the audience. What do you all think John's DISC profile is? So, some practice, right? What do you all think John's profile is? I or D? D.
Yeah, I'm a D and an I. Okay, both.
Very spot on. Yeah, that's a good way to gauge.
Yes. So when you understand that person, go direct, ask direct question. If you know there's an I, when build rapport. Oh, where did you come from? Do the Ford theory, right? Family, the occupation, recreation, dreams, right? Do the Ford conversation. Oh, where does your son go to school? You see the kids. That's an I. Once you get into the I conversation, the conversation will be there already, right? And S is a safe, steady person. No response, very little response sometimes. Right? But if you just ask enough times, maybe the response will come. A C is very compliant. Tell me the exact measurement of this house.
Yeah.
Tell me the exact measurement of the swimming pool. Tell me. That's where Metapod comes in, because Metapod can actually
measure
360 plus can actually measure the space.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, the C, if you want to win a C over 360 plus or the Metapod shot will help you, because all the measurements for them very precise, because a C wants things to be precise. So if you tell me this, you better be this. If it's A, it's A. If it's B, it's B. If it's A, you tell me A becomes C, I will get very upset with you.
I'm sure everyone has met someone like that.
So understanding the behavioral traits of clients to connect better, to make appointments.
What kind of sources do you recommend someone to kind of, how do you better gauge the client when they first meet? Like how is that possible for us to do that?
If you are brave, send them this assessment. right? There's a this assessment tool. There are a lot of free this assessment tool right now in the market where you can say, hey, Mr. Owner, I'm just doing this so that I understand you better. You know what? Once you have completed, I will send you my profile. So you understand me as well. I used to do this to a lot of recruiting conversation, right? I always ask them to do a this profile, some of them. And I said that when you do this, after that, I will send you my profile as well. So there's an exchange of me being vulnerable as well, or what kind of person because sometimes when I sound very direct, it's because my natural make is actually D. So at least I prepare you first, right?
So we are able to gauge the audience, the clients a bit better before we handle them. That's a very good tip. I hope you guys are noting all this down. Very interesting stuff and very insightful. All right, John, now as we talk about cultivating, right? Why do you think some of us find it hard sometimes to actually cultivate leads until they are actually ready to purchase? Like what do you think is the main challenge for us?
I think it's also I think it's history. I think before this, I have the same mindset as well. And sometimes I still practice the same mindset. It's because during my time of real estate 18 years ago, converting was so easy. And as time changes, right, as things becomes more complex, as life becomes more different from where we are, I think number one is the complexity of how things have changed in the market. Sometimes people feel that investment in properties may not be the main thing anymore. During my time, it was the only thing that people talk about, right? It was like the private part-time is like the private pastime hobby for most Asian people. But today, some of this might have changed. So I think the behavior and the environment has changed. There are many things that people look at. There's blockchain to look at right now. There's cryptocurrency. So many other things to look at right now that people are distracted, right? And they're so easily distracted. Therefore, connecting becomes more complex. Now we have to accept that's the fact.
Yeah.
Like to give you an example today, right? If when I grew up last time, I don't know about you, Wei-Li, you and I were same age, right?
No.
Okay. So when we grew up, the way our parents handle us and communicate was very different. But today you cannot use that same method and talk to my son. He will end up being very miserable and he will end up disconnecting with me along the way. And when
can you give an example? Sorry, can you give an example of what?
Yeah, an example is we cannot instruct them and tell them this is what you need to do it now by this day. You have to sit down and help them see why this is important and what's the option that you want to choose. You must give them option to choose. Again, they like to be empowered. This generation wants to be empowered. They do not want to be disempowered. The minute when you disempower them, they will disconnect from you. It's an example, right, of what has changed. Now, I don't know why I'm talking about children, but client is the same thing, isn't it? I'm empowered. I want to go and do research. The minute you tell me something that is irrelevant or not consistent with my research, I lose trust with you. So it becomes very challenging when the agent don't up their game. They find it very hard to connect because the client is here. He's studying the market like this, and we are still here, not studying the market. So you disconnect. That's why it's important for agents to be the local real estate agent of choice by being the economist of choice to understand how to answer this question, right? And if you don't know how to answer the question, at least you know how to find the answer. Or you are interested to find the answer.
So it sounds like being equipped is very important at this time and age, right? Like being equipped and being relevant, staying relevant to what's happening right now.
Correct. And utilizing that technology is very important.
Technology.
Because technology is fast. It helps you to be faster, efficient, clearer. Right? Data labs, you go to data labs, you can pull out a data. At least you got some data to talk about. You can argue, oh, data is not the best data. Yeah, okay, whatever. But it's data that you can speak from. You need to communicate from data, not communicate from what you feel. So example, an agent say, hey, I'm the top sales in this market. Versus an agent say that, hey, I just did 57 transactions last month. Who is the top sale now? 57 transactions last month, or the guy who say I'm top sale?
The one with the transactions.
Because that's what client looks at. They want things to be transparent. They want things to be real. They're looking for realistic people. They're looking for people that is serious. All of us are serious to talk about that. Your numbers will tell you how serious you are, or your desire to tell your numbers will tell you how serious you are. And being good is not a feeling, is not a personality thing. It's about facts.
Yeah. It's about evidence, right? Evidence that
Evidence
shows.
before emotions, right? Evidence before emotions.
Evidence before emotions, a very good point. So always kind of backing up with evidence, with transactions, with results, and that also helps in that sense, right? Yeah, just as we're hearing all this, I'm also quite curious to kind of pick up from the crowd. Any ahas that you are actually capturing right now as we're coming towards the end? Any other thoughts? Anything that you guys have picked up today that you found was really interesting for you? Maybe you all can just list it in the chat. Anything that you felt like was a huge takeaway for you guys? Any ahas? So quiet, everyone. Okay, empowering the buyers. No follow-up, but connecting. A very good one. Need analysis. Yeah, need analysis with your clientele, right? Understanding their needs before, and it's not just a transaction. Any more ahas? Anyone from Facebook, if virtual support is there, any ahas from Facebook that you've seen? Yeah, my personal aha was, I think it's really about connecting, like to kind of shift that mindset of seeing it as just a process of following up, but really wanting to connect with people and really to understand. I think there's something that we also learned from Mega Camp is really to kind of create an impact, right? And not so much as just doing this as per doing, but really being purposeful and creating the impact. Yeah, capturing your buyers upstream. Sorry, yes, John, go ahead.
Let me add one more thing. Connect with the intention to add value and contribute. Connect with the intention to add value and contribute. Because if you connect without adding value, or that connection may not be the best connection. So connect with the intention to create value or add value to that person.
With the intention to add value. Yeah, like what Susan just mentioned, right? Trust, connection, and value. Right. So I'm hearing a lot of value adding, a lot of really shifting our own personal mindset on how we can just look at this as also building relationships, right? And not it's not like a diehard, like, wait, I need to see you as a client that needs to buy today, but also allowing that time and process of journeying with them. Wow.
Yeah.
It's very, very good, very interesting. Right, before we kind of get back to you, John, I know we're coming up with time. Before we come back to any last words, can we have maybe the announcements? And we're gonna have something very interesting to share with all of you, which actually John will share a bit more about this as well. So let's watch this video. All right, thanks. Yeah, let's go ahead with the video.
We have an entire team of leaders that are coming out to KL to be with you, and we are so excited to share in some of the amazing topics planned for that event. Things like what the future of real estate will look like, how to be productive in today's market, and much, much more.
I personally am going to be sharing about technology and the impact that can have on our agents' businesses in an ever-changing market.
This mastermind is going to be epic. You can't miss it.
Be sure to bring your energy and your notepad because I know you are going to have a lot of ahas. See you soon.
Wow, maybe John, you can share a bit more of what this is before we head on to the next announcement.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a gathering of everyone of our company and also beyond that as well. We are expecting 1,500 agents all over the world. We have already confirmed delegates from KW Mongolia, from Philippines, Japan, Cambodia, and all the other regions that now are talking to us. We are expecting a huge delegates from overseas as well, and agents from all around Malaysia. We have what we call main event and about 20 breakout sessions.
Wow.
Now, breakout sessions could be from how to hire your first assistant, right? success stories, how to do your database. So we have a lot of breakout sessions, and some of the speakers in the breakout sessions are agents, not from our company alone. We are inviting top producing agents from other companies to be part of this conversation as well, right? So they are here to also add value, and I think it's going to be a huge event post-COVID that I think all of us need to connect and network, but most importantly, learn from the best in the industry. Our goal is to bring you the content and the opportunity to learn from the best in the industry. You will hear from industry experts in the area of connecting, building technology, building a relationship, how to build a big business, how to become $1 million agents. You will hear all those things, and we will be sharing some of this information as we go forward in this few weeks to kind of update everyone what's the content. But it's a big thing. Please do not please block your date for that whole day. It's a whole full day event at the hotel.
Wow, it sounds really exciting. I think for those of you who were with us 3 years ago, we had this in 2019. That was a much smaller scale one, right, John? Now it's going to be like
It's
triple
a
the
bigger
size.
scale, and then we have a bigger team from the US flying down to do this with us.
Yeah, guys, you
Right.
do not want to miss this. It was really exciting the last round, and I think this one is going to be even better. So do save your dates for the 26th of October. There's going to be more announcements and updates along the way. Thank you, John, for sharing. Maybe you can up the announcement slides again, like to share more about what's coming up next week. Right, so we're nearing towards the end of season 4 of Tactics to Power Through a Global Shift Market. So next week we have your favorite host, Mariah, back again. She will be actually interviewing John and also Nick, right? You're going to talk about digital marketing and how do you use that to actually capture and convert leads. So today we touch on the foundations on capturing and conversion. Next week, we're going to go digging deeper into the strategies on how you can use digital marketing to do so. All right. And next up for the announcements, we have PropTech coming this Thursday. So for any of you who are guests or any of you from the market centers, please register for PropTech. It's going to be, I think I might be wrong, maybe our last one this month before Asia Summit, right? So do take good use of this time, make good use of it. Come to HQ. It's an open day for anyone to just address any of the tech issues that you might have, or anything that you want to learn a little bit more about the tech outlets in command, or even your GPS, right? We're all there to kind of serve you. So do come. It's going to be a fun day, food, lots of people connecting. So do come together and kind of master some of the skills that we learn about conversion as well. Okay. So now we have next is, if you guys have seen this on Facebook, please do like and share some of these value stories that you've seen. We are constantly pumping up information and a lot more stories from our agents up into our Facebook. So do share and like every one of them. Okay, yes. And these are all also up on the workplace. So if you're a Keller Williams agent, we have been providing touch points ever since COVID happened. I think ever since 2019, we've been coming up with weekly touch points that you can actually send out to your clients. So if you're new to Keller Williams, you just joined us, please head to the respective links here. You can find a whole library of different touch points from the past. And trust me, you can still make use of some of this because they're evergreen.
And maybe can I say something here?
Yeah,
this
sure.
is an example of messaging for different people in different seasons, and all the messages has been preset for you guys here. If you have no idea how to do this, right, what I just said just now, go here to this link and see all these resources. It's free, and then you just copy and paste, you can use it straight away.
It is free, and there's a lot of them. So feel free to just use it. Guys, this is really a huge gold mine here. So do go into this link and please make use of it. Thank you so much for the regional team for giving us all this information and touch points every single week. All right, and up next, I think is it my screen? Oh, right. I think that's all we have today for the announcements. Maybe John, if you do mind sharing some final thoughts, anything that you'd like to share before we wrap up.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I will appeal to every real estate professional in this country is to, first of all, understand that you are in the position to help someone make the best decision, biggest decision in their life. And what we do is the front line to nation building. Home ownership is a very important component in nation building. You and I today, who are in this industry, have the privilege, honor, and opportunity to be part of that. So if you understand it this way, right, that you should be proud of doing what you do, and you do it with that mindset. Don't just do it because you want to make a lot of money. You will make a lot of more money if you do it with that mindset. Trust me. Been there, done that before. I understand how it feels. You will make more money by behaving that way. When you don't treat a human being like a human being, you treat them like a transaction, right? Your life in this business is very short term. But if you build relationships versus transactions, your business is long term and be infinite. So I encourage everyone to think about your business and really look at some of these priorities in your business, and to think about your ethos and your thinking about why you're in this business, because it is such a privilege to be part of this nation building process, to help someone own a home, an investment home, sell a home, cash out a home, to help someone fund something, whatever it is a very important part of their lives. You can be part of that person's journey, right? And you can add a lot of values to them. I don't know how many stories I have in my own personal journey when I help people sell or buy, how many problems I help them solve, how many problems I help them. Such a pleasure to be able to do that. So if you take it that way, right, you will be respected and you can respect yourself. So please treat people, human being, like a human being, and don't treat them like a transaction. You treat them like a transaction, your lifespan in this business is shortened. That's my last thoughts.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing, John. Yeah, as I'm hearing this, treat someone like a human being. And I think what it all means is that just think about the impact that you can be for that person's life. Like, even though it could be something that's common for you, it could change the world of the other person, right? And it could mean a lot to the other person on the other end. So yeah, thank you so much, John, for sharing with us today. And for everyone here, thank you for being here today. See you guys next week for our next Winning Mondays. Okay, take care. Bye.